Have you ever wondered if your speaker system at church is really covering your room from front to back, side to side? And if so, how do you actually gather data and not just tell your leadership team, hey, I think it's bad? That's what was happening at Hope Community Church here in Kansas City. They had inherited their building from another church and upgraded their console, but they weren't really sure if the speaker system was adequate for covering their entire listening area. So before going to the leadership team and asking for a new PA, they brought me out to test their sound system to see exactly how it's covering front to back, side to side. Does the speaker system need an upgrade, or can it just be tuned to sound better? That's what we're going to find out in this video. So console inputs, I need an input to get pink noise to the system. And so let's see
So we've got,
there's some line inputs.
1/8 of an inch here.
There's some line inputs here on 31, 32, that'll work. So what this thing does, you've seen people measure with pink noise before, right? So you've seen like an RTA or a real-time analyzer, right? There we go.
Yep, 31.
So a real-time analyzer just has one input and it measures kind of relative level of the different frequencies. What this does is it uses what's called a transfer function. So it's actually comparing two different signals. So it's saying, what are you feeding the speakers? And then what am I hearing at the microphone? And that allows you to do more stuff with timing. And you can also do it with like when you're actually mixing music. It doesn't have to be only pink noise. You can still see what's going on with the difference between what you're feeding the speakers and what you're getting out of the speakers to an actual microphone. You can do all that all together. So that's what this program is doing. So I'll plug in several microphones to it. So I'm just gonna test the signal generator. It's coming through the headphones, so we've got signal there. That's winning.
Let me go make sure the amps, hold on.
Well,
What level do you want it to be going to the amps at?
it doesn't have to be super hot, so we can gain it down.
I'll go turn them on for you.
Yeah, so green to yellow is great level for me. Okay, so I've verified that that's gotten to that point. So that's kind of the next on my checklist. I can turn this off for now. So we're to the console. Let's make sure that we are getting, well, let me get the mics set up. And then, do you have 3 mic stands I can borrow? They can be straight or boom, it doesn't matter, but just as long as they can get to ear height, that's kind of the goal. All right, so normal person's ear height. I gotta remember that not everybody's as tall as me. I'm gonna put them all in the same spot to begin with, just so I can make sure they're all working and the same. So the step-by-step is getting stuff consistent. The idea is I want to make sure that all of them at the same spot are measuring the same thing so that then after I move them around, I know that any difference is not because of the microphones themselves. So we have verified our microphones. They're all coming into the computer at the same level when they're at the same spot. So control for the speakers is what I gotta find next. I'm seeing the 3 speakers. Are there any more, or is there anything else that's...
Those 2.
Okay, there are delay speakers, cool.
That's the 5 that you hear.
Okay, can you show me the amp rack room or wherever that's happening? Is there a system processor back here?
No.
Okay, cool. Okay.
So it comes into this thing, and this splits it to your outputs. So we have the left, right main amp, the sub, and those delays.
Okay.
And the other amplifiers in here are not important for this right now.
Okay, cool. Do you know if this is locked?
I don't know if it's locked or not.
Let's see. Free configuration. Okay, so somebody did something at some point. Okay, so there's some EQ stuff. Okay. Crossover. All right, so we can figure out what is what with these for outputs. I'm guessing left, right, sub, left delay, right delay.
Yeah.
Let's just do one of them to start and see what's happening with that, or which, if it's actually the left speaker, what is feeding that center speaker. We'll figure all that out and go from there.
What the sub output here, number 3, goes to the center speaker of those 3 up there.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's the way it is.
We will figure that out. I'm so curious as to what this is. I'm not going to break anything, but
signal amplifiers.
Is it like distro?
I don't know if that's input into this. I can't remember or not. This thing's on wheels and you can get around behind it.
I'm of the do no harm school of thought. So like, if I don't know what something is, I'm not going to touch it.
So, but yeah, they're just labeled line amplifiers. Oh, booth record. So a bunch
Booth
of those
control.
things we don't use anymore. So I guess the two that matter are these two, the Sanctuary Stereo Mono something. And those may just be
record, monitor, stereo, What is it doing? Is it the line amplifiers?
So we used to have, I mean, there used to be a bunch of stuff to record tapes and DVDs.
Right, so maybe it's that.
Yeah.
You have monitor amps. Are you guys doing monitor wedges still? Or have you gone over to in-ear monitors totally?
We are doing, well, so we have one for the piano player, and then some of our people still ask for on-stage amplifiers. So we do sometimes use those.
Cool. All right, with that muted, let's see what happens. Oh my word.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
This is great. I used to broadcast radio.
Dude, this is so cool.
Isn't this amazing?
My gosh.
It's not plugged in.
Yeah. So,
But even if you like took the panels and like built some like DIY recording equipment behind it,
right?
it'd be so
Wouldn't it? I mean,
the color,
yeah.
that is so.
I'm saying like that's what I love. I would love to. I mean, just use it, have it be a shell, but like have the stuff actually function behind.
Yeah.
So it looks like in the next.
Or just put a Mac Mini in there and.
Yeah. Hope community video series. It's like it looks like you're actually using it, but
yes.
really not.
It's amazing.
That's my like idea for it.
And the bat phone too.
Yeah.
Man, that's so
the
cool.
phone works.
Nice.
It does. As long as we keep it plugged into power in there, those work.
That's awesome. Now we turn this on. Cool. Let us turn this down just a little bit.
Sorry. Yeah, you found the master over there.
Yeah, that'll work. So I'm just trying to make it so that my frequency response graph is about, even right at 0. So then if I want it louder, if I need it louder for subs or something, I can do this, but it... Okay. All right. So we verified that this speaker works. So all I have to do... Why is that mic still hotter than the rest? Or maybe I just didn't see that it was. Let's turn this back on. Okay. Okay, so this speaker is functioning. It looks like it's got all the highs you need. It looks like it's got all the low mids you need. It's a little weaker in the low mids, but it's not producing nothing down there, right? So that's handy. Let me just take this green one. All right, so we're gonna take a measurement of this one from whatever distance that is. 1 second, turn it on. All right, so we're capturing this one, and this is left only initial. Take the green one and its cable without making a huge mess. All right, so now let's run back and mute the left one and unmute the right one, and then we'll take a measurement over there. So we're gonna get our steps in today.
Yeah.
So it would take more work to throw it out than it would to just keep it. All right, so this is as simple as unmuting that one and muting that one. And now we take another measurement. So now, I can turn this on and there is nothing. So when I unmute the right side, there is no sound. So the left side only is feeding both of those. Let me turn this back off. You guys didn't mute anything, did you?
That might be, that might be the case.
It might be that the left output is feeding both of those amplifier channels.
I think I rewired it to do that because the signal from here to the right part of that one was just not working. And so the easiest solution in there was
to just make it a bridge amp instead of a mono input to both outputs.
From that thing, I just split its output to go into both amps.
Okay.
I think. May have been what I did.
Well, then we'll find out in just a second. We'll just see if it's still outputs on the right side, even when the left side was the only thing that was on, or left input is the one there. See, this is why we do this stuff. You cannot assume. Okay. So with that, we know that we've got a left-fed mono system, but the center channel, which I think is fed by the sub-channel from what we've heard about, but we'll diagnose some more. Essentially, it would be left, center, right, or left, right, left if we fed the right channel to whatever's feeding that center speaker. Whether or not that's like we can suss out whether or not that's a problem in a minute, but we're at least finding out what's going on. So let me now see what's feeding that center channel and we can get that fed by whatever channel 3 is.
I believe the center channel is just fed by that thing getting a crossover like.
Well, let's go unmute 3 only and then see what's coming out. So I just unmuted 3 and muted 1. So when we turn this on, what do we get? We get the subwoofer. So 3 is the subwoofer. And we can verify that. You know, like whoever set this up did it very clinically and by the book. Like they didn't do stuff weird. Let's find where the subs are. So you think that is the subwoofer? I'm not hearing any rise in low end as I'm getting back here. So that center speaker is all that's creating low end in your room from what I can.
But that's what I understand.
Right.
So I'm happy to be proven wrong about this stuff.
Let's test it out. Yeah, that is the sub. Let's capture it. No wonder you want it to thump and you don't think it can. I'm not sure it can either, but we can do what we can. Now let's verify these delays and we'll use this one. I didn't take any wrong turns that time. All right, let's turn on pink. Cool. I'll move this.
I believe these speakers were put in 2011.
Okay, so let's mute the left and turn on the right, and then we will know what we can do. Okay, we have all our initial data, and now we can start doing stuff with it. We know that the speakers are functioning themselves. I mean, this right one is not, well, hang on a second. Let me do this right one again. So we know each speaker by itself is working, and we're seeing appropriate levels-ish from most of them. We have a mono system, essentially, but with stereo backfills. So I guess my next course of measurement is just seeing what the difference is from front to back with everything on.
Okay.
And then we'll see if delays need to be adjusted, if delay timing is right, making sure that all that is happening. The way the subs are crossed over, I know somebody knew what they were doing. It looks very clinical and precise.
Okay.
It's not the shape that I would put on it to make music sound good, but it's doing something, right?
Okay.
Let's see just what it's like front to back. So,
Do you want me to go turn on the amps or all of them?
yes, please. I have a question for you. Does Chris McGee still preach at like 1.5 speed, or has he slowed down?
Yeah. Well, he's got a 1.25.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so now we're taking measurements at that front position, middle, and then in the back here. So then we can see kind of if it drops off anywhere back here, if there's enough from the delays, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so front to back looks good. Let's see what we're like side to side. So we can go, well, let me see how far forward I can get this mic. So here, I'm gonna turn all these off. Turn this on. All right, let's turn this on. Okay, so oddly enough, these speakers are covering like corner to corner, front to back, pretty evenly. I'm not really worried about coverage right now. And like whoever set this up and designed it did a good job for probably the task and the tone that was desired at the time.
I mean, I assume it was much more choir.
Right. So if you're wanting something more like a contemporary band that's not necessarily the synths and electric guitars, we can add some overall EQ and see how far we can push the subwoofer before it distorts to see how much more fullness we can get out of it, and then go from there. Let me work on the sub and see if I can get a little oomph from it and at what point it's going to start to distort. So we don't want to distort it, but we just want to see how much juice we've got, and then we can try and get some beefiness out of it, and then see if adding subwoofers is a next purchase. Because as much as I don't love the way that this is set up for gain before feedback reasons, it's still functioning and covering everywhere reasonably.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's where we're at with that.
Sounds good.
Cool. So let's see if we can juice this sub up. Hey, I hope you enjoyed tagging along with me on this one and that you learned something new. If smart is out of your budget, you can check out Open Sound Meter, which does the same thing, but it's a pay what you want model. So the graphical interface is a little less awesome, but it still does the exact same thing, and it can help you gather data with which you can make great decisions about your sound system. If you like this video, go ahead and mash that thumbs up, hit subscribe down below, and remember, it's all about the low end. Avoid the sound tech solo, and nobody leaves church humming the kick drum. We'll see you back here next time on Attaway Audio.